Okay, it might seem a little bit strange to do a whole piece on brass polishing, but let's face it, we've got a lot of brass and bronze on boats. We've certainly got loads of it on our boat. So hopefully have a look through, you might find a few useful tips. I've got to stop now, I'm getting dizzy. Obviously it's just personal choice whether you choose to polish these things or not. It's not going to damage them not to. Brass is normally made to be decorative and done that way, but bronze not so much. But things like this porthole, when I choose to polish the inside of it, I just like the look of it that way. But the outsides I just let go green. I certainly don't want the extra work of making them all bright and shiny. So if there are things outside that you want to keep all nice and shiny, you've really got your work cut out. I did some filming on some classic boats last year in Saint-Tropez, and they had a whole crew of people that would just go out and polish all the bronze, the winches, everything every morning. Well, you know, most of us don't want to do that. The only thing that I have outside that I polish are the winches around the cockpit. Other things I cheat with, things like the dorades, which you know, I do like to look shiny. They look good on this boat. If I think if they're like that. You'd just be polishing them, you know, well, once a week to make them look reasonable, once a day if you want to make them look fantastic. So with these, what I'm doing is I'm lacquering them. Same with the ship's bell. They're in at the moment because I've stripped them down. I had them 2 years. Last time I sprayed them, and the spray just wasn't very good really. It lasted well for a year, but after 2 years it was pretty much shot. But actually the things that I've used, like the binnacle, where I used a lacquer, paint on lacquer, that's still looking reasonable now after 3 years, so that's very good going, I think. The important thing when you're using something like that is to clean it well first. I've got a brass restorer here that is made for the job, but you could probably use alcohol or meths or something just to get all the polish off, because obviously you're going to have to polish them up to look as good as possible first. For that I've always used Brasso. I've tried pretty much everything, and this was great until now, because I found something which seems much better. I've got some winches to do, so let's go and see how well it works. Okay, so something with a little bit more tarnishing on here. This is a winch that's been left all winter. I do normally polish these in the summer. I know it's a sickness, but in my defence, Sir Robbie Knox-Johnson, who was the first man to sail around the world on Sue Haley, had 6 bottles of Brasso aboard his boat, so I'm in good company. It's very windy here today. I'm just going to show you the bimini. You can hear all this blustering. It's sunny for once, but really, really windy, and obviously very, very messy, as you can see as well. That's one thing to bear in mind, actually, if you're trying to prepare a boat for going somewhere. Do it before you go, when there's not 2 people aboard. Julie's away, so I can make a mess. Everything you do on a boat, you start bringing things out and it has to go somewhere, so living with 2 people on board when you're trying to work is impossible. So yeah, this winch, you can see it's a little bit beyond what I'm going to do with my new favourite 3M's polish. So I've got a secret weapon, which is this. It's barkeeper's friend. Now this is great because it really does sort of take things off quickly. It'll cut the time in half or more to do something like this. And for other parts, like this bit here, you can see you've had some salt water left, a rope that's been left with some salt water on, so it's really got into it. With that, I might actually use a fine 3M's pad as well, just to get that off. So first of all, we'll just put the protector on for the Teak, and start off with the barkeeper's friend. As you can see, this stuff's pretty messy, so good to protect the Teak below it, but you can see just how quickly this works. I've tried pretty much everything, vinegar and all the different pastes and concoctions that you can come up with, and this is by far the quickest method I've found. A little bit of barkeeper's friend to get the worst off, and then the 3M's paste to polish it, and it shouldn't take very long at all. And before anyone writes in, I do know it wasn't Sir Robin that was the first man to sail around the world. He was the first man non-stop, solo and non-stop, to go around the world. It was Sir Francis Fisher the year before that was the first man to do it solo. Okay, it's about done. Let's take this off and do our after shot.
If you've enjoyed any of these videos, please hit the subscribe button. As a new channel, it's important, it helps people find us. And if you want to follow what we're doing now, go over to Facebook and hit the follow button.